Okay. In 1999, Kerry Eggers wrote a biography of legendary broadcaster Bill Schonely. This past November, his 9th book, Wherever You May Be Now, the Bill Schonely Story, was published. This new version contains the past quarter century of the storied life of the Blazers broadcaster. Kerry Eggers joins us now to share his insights on Bill Schonely, who died Saturday at the age of 93. Thanks for being here, Kerry.
Thank you, Tim.
You've obviously known Bill Schonely for a long time. Tell us a little bit about the man behind the microphone.
You know, it's pretty much what you might think. He's very gracious with people. He likes people. He likes attention. There's a certain ego there that he had that I think it really served him well in his job, because you have to be kind of a showman, and he was certainly a great showman and a person that identified with so many people in the Northwest and especially in the Portland area.
Did he like his nickname, Sean's?
I think so. In fact, he called himself the Sean's a lot of times. You know, he would tell me a story, like, say, when he was doing hockey in the 60s, and he said, yeah, Rich, whatever the guy's name was, would call me Sean's. I said, wait a minute, you weren't even named Sean's until you got to Portland. He goes, oh, that's right. But he did like his name. Yes, he did.
He was as I understand it, he was employee number 6 when the Blazers were born in 1970. He stayed connected with the team pretty much for the most of the past 52 years. But when he was let go by the Blazers after the 1998 season, it was a PR disaster. And so what was his reaction to A, being let go, and B, the public uproar over his dismissal?
Well, he was absolutely floored and shocked, and it couldn't have been a worse feeling for him. He was gratified by the reaction of the fans. I mean, he had to admit that. He loved the fact that they stood up for him, and a lot of them dropped their season tickets, and it became a real problem for the Blazers, as you know, with Harry Hutt and Bob Whitsitt. And a lot of people forget that there was 3 years there where he didn't work for the Blazers. From 2000 to 2003, he worked for the Portland Beavers and did play-by-play. He missed play-by-play, enjoyed baseball. And so then when Whitsitt was fired and C. Patterson and John Nash were brought in, they brought him back as an ambassador. And I think he really enjoyed being back. And that last 19 years of being an ambassador was a good time in his life. It really was.
Well, good. Yeah. And I knew he did the Beavers games. He also called Major League Baseball, as I understand it, and some hockey, but it's basketball for which he's remembered. He's in the Basketball Hall of Fame and the Oregon Sports Hall of Fame, but did he ever talk about the evolution of the game of basketball?
No, I don't think he understood basketball all that well. He's probably just like you and me, right? We're just fans. We know a little bit about it. He didn't know it like the coaches, but you don't need to, Tim, when you're an announcer. And he was a mellifluous talker. His voice of God is what we used to say. Had a great voice. He carried a game beautifully. So he didn't need to know basketball that well.
There are certain announcers who have transcended their sport and become intertwined with the city. I can think of a few, Chick Hearn with the Lakers and Johnny Most with the Celtics, Vin Scully, the Dodgers, Ernie Harwell with the Tigers. Did Bill Schonely see himself in that category?
Well, I think he did, but he didn't let it get out of hand. I mean, I say he had an ego, but he was very good with people. He'd walk down the street and somebody would come up and say, and he'd pretend like he knew him, and then he'd ask me, who was that guy? And really, that's kind of a neat thing, that he wanted to make people feel like, yes, he knew who they were. We were friends. And I bet thousands of people thought they were friends, and he didn't really know who they were.
Well, we've all had that happen to us.
Sure.
Do you know of any plans that the Blazers have to honor Bill Schonely?
Yeah, I don't know yet. I'm assuming there'll be a moment of silence tonight at the game at Moda Center against the Lakers, but I haven't heard.
And oftentimes teams will have their players wear patches on their uniforms. You don't know anything about that or anything?
Yes, that'll happen too. I don't know though.
Okay. Do you know, will there be a public memorial service?
Well, I've just talked briefly with his wife Dottie, and so I think we're in the preliminary stages of that, but I haven't heard. No.
All right. Well, Kerry Eggers' latest book, Wherever You May Be Now, the Bill Schonely Story, is available now through kerryeggers.com. Thanks for taking the time to talk with us today, Kerry.
Thank you for having me on, Tim.